of the House of Light. My name is Uriah Ben Israel.
Hoshea ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
A Shabbat Shalom elder and Shabbat Shalom deacon. And
Shabbat
it goes
shalom,
up.
brothers.
Shabbat
eh,
shalom, my
Shabbat-
elders. Praise Yah.
yeah. How was the week so far? Because I know our visitors will like, and the members will like, to show what's going on in this time. Is Yahweh, is about to come for us, ready for us to return back home. Yeah, those things are going through our mind, and plus, we have our own, things that we are going through, but we cannot allow that to distract us. We have to keep, focusing on the spirit, and make sure we are always in a line with the spirit at all time. Yeah. So at this time, um, Deacon Eller, you have anything to say before we go into the main class?
Had a great week. Hope you brothers had the same. Yahweh just continues to show his mercy and that he's merciful and loving. And it just deserves all the praise and the honor. So praise Yah.
Praise yeah, praise yeah. We all need that, Elder. We all need
Praise
it.
Yah.
Praise yeah.
Yes, sir. My elders. Praise Yah. I forward that motion from my elder here. It's been a great week. Yah's been very merciful, and he's revealed a lot. He's allowed a lot of things to take place, and learning to look at the perspective is so important, and learning to just be grateful for the time that he's given us, and trying to make wise use of this time that he's given us. That's what I've been really just meditating on, and just been grateful for his mercy, because there's a lot of us that are just not. He hasn't revealed these things to us, and it just shows us the charge that we have, and it reveals our purpose even more, because he says, you don't take light and put it under the bushel. You put it on the lampstand so it'll give light to all that come into the room. And so it's a reason why Yahweh has revealed the things that he has unto us. And woe to us if we don't make use of the things that he's given us, and do right with it, if you would, and be good stewards of what it is that he's given us, responsible and trustworthy, uh, having integrity with and yeah. So praise yeah. It's been a great week, a character building week. I like to call it that, when it gets rough. I like to call it a character building week, because he's showing us ourselves, and showing us what we need to improve, and showing us it's not just the bad, it's the good too, and the things that we can tighten up on, and all of that's encouragement, and correction. That's love, and without those things, without being chastised, it says we're bastards. We're none of his. He's going to do that to his children. So I'm grateful for it. I'll just say that. So praise God. It's been a great week. Yeah.
Praise
You know,
Yah.
praise
Praise
yeah, praise yeah. Well said, Elder and Deacon, because we are here. The
Mhm.
bottom line, we are here, and that's more than a blessing that we could ever ask our Creator for. Give us another chance, at least a second chance to make it right. And that's what
Mm.
love is all about, not to downtrodden anyone, but to uplift our brothers and sisters. So, praise Yahweh for those commentaries, Elder and Deacon. But before that, let me tell the people who we are. The keepers of the house of light are dedicated to spreading the righteous love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through His Son, Yeshua the Messiah, the Lamb of Yahweh, the King of Israel, the High Priest, and our Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. We are here to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yeshua, who magnify the law of Yahweh. And, thinking of the word magnifies, I just said amplify. That means it's reach, another generation. There's always root. For growth. Because if that tree just sit at a certain height and never grow to produce the fruit that necessary, something wrong. You have to pull it out of the ground and throw it into the fire
Hmm.
because it have to provide, and that's what it does. When we magnify, the law of Yahweh, it's not about ourselves, but it's of the Creator, because it's gonna grow one way or the other, with or without us. So we have to make the best choice. We have to meditate and the thing that we are gonna do. Not to say everything is gonna be superb, before us. You're gonna get a smooth road. No, it's gonna be a rocky one. So you always have to keep thinking, what the spirit is, open up to each and every one of us, to do the work of Yahweh through his son Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeah, but at this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over to the deacon for the pre-class. Deacon, whenever you're ready.
Praise God, my elders. We're going to begin the pre-class reading in the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to read chapter 6 and verses 4 and 5. And, this is what we call the Shema, which derives from the Hebrew word shamar. And this means to listen or to hear. And we constantly hark back to it. People may wonder, why do they always read that? Well, this is the foundation. This is part of the Constitution, if you would. Yahweh established it. Yahweh doesn't change. See? And so we need to be steady the same way that Yahweh is consistent with what it is that he does, because these, again, are not suggestions. These are instructions, and instructions are the way to life. So Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and 5. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one Adonai. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Praise Yah. And what a
Praise
way
Yah.
to state it. He look at how it was revealed and given to be stated. With all your might, give it all you got, if you would, and that's what's required to be able to come before Yahweh. We can't halfway do anything, because he didn't halfway do anything with us, So it's required that we take these things serious and move accordingly, if you would. So we're going to go to the Gospel of Matthew, and we're going to read chapter 24. I'm sorry, it's chapter 22, forgive me. And we're going to read verses 34 through verse 40. See what our God King and High Priest Yeshua HaMashiach had to say regarding these matters. Matthew chapter 22, and we're going to pick it up at verse 34. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Praise Yah. So
Praise Yah.
praise Yah, my brothers. So we see what Yeshua HaMashiach had to say about these things. So contrary to popular belief, they say that the law has been nailed to the tree and to the cross, and he did away with those things, but it's not so. Matter of fact, he said that this is the great commandment, and the second one was like unto it. And this is something we were taught when we were young. To do unto others as we would have them do unto us. This is they call that the golden rule. So law has always been here on the earth. So to deceive ourselves into thinking otherwise is just a gross deception, if you will. We're going to stay in the Gospel of Matthew, And we're going to go to chapter 18 and read one verse, verse 20. It says, "For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Praise Yah.
Praise you.
And lastly, we're going to go to the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, and we're going to read verses 13 and 14. Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 13 and 14. "If thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it." Praise Yah. And that's going to end the pre-class reading. I'm going to turn it back over to you, my elder, for today's Sabbath class.
Thank you once again, Deacon, for that pre-class. You said something so important when you were reading in the book of Matthew there. And it really kind of have me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And where you said, let's look at it. This was written so many years before the Messiah was born. But he
Mm-hmm.
still repeat the same thing that was written thousands and thousands of years ago. But the bottom line is he came as our savior. Why you have to really go back so far to repeat the same thing? What's up? What's up with that Deacon?
Because truth, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change. It's interesting you say that, Elder, because in John, or Yohanan chapter 14, verse
Mm-hmm.
6, Yeshua said, he says, Thomas asked him a question about, verse, just in perspective. Thomas said, "Master, we know not whither you go, and how can we know the way?" Question. Yeshua said
Mm-hmm.
unto him, "I am the way, the way. Ain't no other way." He said, "I am the way." This is very specific. And then he
Mm-hmm.
says, "And the truth." We hear people today be like, "Oh, I'm going to live my truth." What is your truth? You ain't got no truth. Yeshua said, "I am the truth. The law is the truth." You can't get around these things. We're that's why Yahweh called us gainsaying people, because we say things that just boldly, that contrary to. He said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the light. No man cometh to the Father but by me." Period. I'm the way, and I'm the truth, the truth. Now you can talk about truth, but that's the truth. And he's confirming these things. And so he had to take it back, because he says, "I don't speak nothing but what my Father said." And he speaks consistently with what his Father spoke. Yahweh said the
Mm-hmm.
truth. The law is like a lamp to our feet. And so Yeshua has magnified that law and lived it and walked in the Spirit, and is showing us that we got to do the same thing. And so that's why he had to take it back, because the truth doesn't change. It doesn't change. He's consistent with his Father. And he made these things. So it's so deep, Elder. I'm glad you said that. Praise Yah.
Yeah,
Just
thank you,
to,
for those words. Go ahead, Elder.
yeah, just to add to that, you mentioned you know, the same words. And Obi stated correctly, Yah doesn't change, his words are eternal. But what Yahshua did was he taught the spirit of the law, and how we have to walk in the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law to be acceptable into Yah. So not only did he teach it, but that's what he gave us an example of, is how we're to walk in the spirit of the law, with with all our hearts. And when he gave the commandment to love Yahweh with all your heart, might, and soul, love your brother, love your neighbor as yourself, it's his ministry was led in love. And basically, even with us under the curse of blindness, and there's a lot of us still under that curse of blindness, they may not be able to hear and really understand all the words, but they are able to recognize genuine, true love towards the Father. And that's something that Yeshua showed us, was how to walk in the spirit of his law. And this is something that we really are still striving to do, and will continue to strive to do to the end. Y'all willing.
Praise. Yeah, take it one day at a time. And from what both of you, elder and the deacon, is saying, that's the reason why we are not consumed. Yeah, Yahweh preserve us because of this. It's true, and changing not. Before, at least before the children of Israel, and the Gentiles, the other nation. Yeah, so he still have to keep his word, and I keep on. I always say this. If he have to change, something is wrong. We need to
Mm,
put a question mark pertaining to that God, who we call and who we serve. So so because he's supposed to know everything, but it's for us to understand his doing. So praise Yahweh for those commentary, elder and deacon. And if nothing more to be said, praise Yah. Then what we'd like to do, before we go into the main class, we're gonna pick it up at Isaiah chapter, I think 51. Yeah, 51 today. But before we go there, the deacon was pondering, and I don't want to say the book of Daniel, but he has something that he would like to present to us or for us to discuss before we go into the main class. And it's very important that to listen keenly what the deacon have to say, because it's very important. We have to be steadfast in this truth, or else we're going to be in a lot of problem. So, deacon, I open the floor to you right now.
Oh, praise y'all, elders, and
Praise God.
praise y'all, my elders. The like our brother Hoshea, our elder brother Hoshea was saying, it's this walk that Yahweh is allowing us to walk.
Mm,
The times that we're living in is very delicate, and it's very
mm-hmm,
volatile, and it's
mm-hmm,
going to continue to be like that, and it's going to get worse according to what's written. We know that the prophets were they foretold the future. So we don't speak to fearmonger the people, but rather to encourage the people to take note to the things that are taking place on the earth, and to be of good cheer, and to increase our faith, because the nations are not going to stop doing what they're doing. We're not just witnessing. We hear
mm,
about wars and rumors of wars, and we see the things that are taking place on the earth, and these things are designed to bring about the future things, if you will, that have already been foretold by the prophets. And so the nations, Yahweh has put it in their heart to carry out his will. And they may think that they have their own agenda, and true enough, they do. But Yahweh is using them, as he did with all the kings. This is why I was meditating in Daniel, seeing how Nebuchadnezzar gave his word. He issued a decree. But guess what? Yahweh showed him, and he had to acknowledge, man, there is no God but you. But he still had his own mind as to what it is that I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. He made an idol of himself, even after seeing all the things that were taking place. But Yahweh's word still came to pass. So seeing the things that are taking place on the earth, we should increase our faith, and like I said, be of good cheer, because these wars and rumors of wars that are being fought on the earth, they're not going to stop. They're going to intensify, and the situation is going to continue to be even more volatile, if you would. The nations know not the way of peace. They disregard the law. So they cannot have peace. There is
mm.
no peace to them. They will not achieve peace. How can you have peace and the children of Israel are sitting in captivity? And you disregard the law of Yahweh. You put it behind your back and cast it by the. There is no peace to the wicked. This is what the book says. And we're not judging the people. We're speaking according to what's written. And so the book is our foundation. And so, like our elder said, we have to continue to love our people and to love them by our deeds and actions and show them through our walk that we are the children of light and not the children of
For
night,
sure.
if you would. And this is the only way we can show them, because a lot of times, like you said, these things haven't been revealed to them, and they're not going to take the time and study. Yahweh hasn't called them to do that, but He says, study to show yourself approved. Period. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a suggestion. Those are instructions as well. And the more we study this book, and the more we meditate in it, we see that Yahweh doesn't give suggestions. He just gives you free will. So He's not making you do it. But His words, ignorance is still not an excuse. And He's going to hold us accountable. And He's going to judge mankind. We're not the judges. So that's the point. We're not to judge. He says, it's like that farmer man. Just keep planting seeds, and Yahweh will give the increase and make it grow as according to His choosing. So we're not to judge wherever the seed is planted. That's what the wisdom of the sower was. The sower kept sowing. It says some fell on good ground, and some fell on
Mm.
stony ground. And so he didn't get caught up with that. Well, why is the ground stuck? He kept sowing and kept doing his job, and that's what we have to do. And that takes faith. And so this is what the encouragement is, despite the things that we see taking place on the earth. Let us just
Mm.
remain of good cheer and increase our faith, Israel,
Praise you.
and just try to encourage the people to don't be fearful with the things that you see, because they're not going to stop. A lot of us wanted to go away. They're not going to stop. They can't stop, because the things that are written, like it's like momentum is building. It's a reason for that, and he has that ball rolling, and it's going to continue to roll in order to be able to bring about the other things that have been prophesied to take place. And they're going to use these momentum that's been built, if you would, to carry out their agendas. They have agendas. They have Agenda 2026, Agenda 2030. These people plan long in advance, and so we have to get that same thinking, not
Mm-hmm.
to worry about the things of tomorrow. Or He said, seek you first the kingdom and all these other things and His righteousness. Very important. That was the stipulation. Seek ye first the kingdom and His righteousness. All the other stuff, He said, don't worry about that, because if we're doing that, all those things will be provided for us. But if we're not doing that, then we are going to worry about, what shall I eat? What shall I do
Hmm.
this? Because if our mind is not stayed on those things, then yeah, we're going to be consumed by the fear of. So increase your faith, Israel. And this is the same thing. This is what we're trying to do. This is what I'm trying to do within myself. So I'm speaking to myself and speaking to the people in encouragement and in love to be of good cheer, Israel. And the we were talking about Daniel, and it's hard to not go into this topic without going into Matthew, like you said, my elder.
Well,
So go ahead, elder.
Deacon, before you go into the book of Matthew there, and you said something that kind of stay with me, and you're talking about wise men that these things of Yahweh have revealed, His prophecy, too, or His word to, what gonna become of this world, and
Mm,
we want to let's go into the book of Daniel chapter 2, Ella, if you don't, and and then we can compare, because we are the one in this time that Yahweh has revealed things too, so we now become the wise men in the world, and we have to reveal these things. But as you just said, you know nothing is new under the sun. So whatever is going to happen in the future already happened or happened before. So Ella, could you pick it up at verse 1, if you don't mind? We're going into the book
Yes,
of
sir.
Daniel, chapter 2.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 1. In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him.
you
Then the
notice that?
king,
mm,
You notice that these leaders nowadays, you see today they come with something, tomorrow they come with something else.
right.
that's right.
Whatever, their spirit has been broken.
Mm,
So it's nothing new. and they're going to lay down that hammer, of course, on the people. They're going to create havoc and whatever unnecessary things, to the people living in this world. So it's nothing new. Continue, Deacon, Elder.
Ver- Verse 2. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king of Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servant the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
Hmm.
The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
Hey, that's a
But if
threat. That
That's
is a
right.
threat. If the
Hmm.
House of Representative cannot, be in line with me, I'm gonna, hey, might as well you pack up and go home. You have
Hmm.
no use to me. You said you are the wise one of my cabinet. Come on. I'm in terrible shape now.
mm,
Help me out here. Don't say
Hmm.
you cannot help me. What's going on? What is the next move? Do I have to think of the next move? What I have you guys for? Go
Hmm.
ahead, Elder.
that's right. Verse 6. But if you show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore, show me the dream and the interpretation thereof.
Mm-hmm.
They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that you would gain the time because you see the thing is gone from me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth
Hmm.
that can show the king's matter. Therefore, there is no king, master, nor ruler that asks such thing at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh.
Hmm.
For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, to, to Mishael, and to Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of Elohim of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And
Mm-hmm.
he changes the time and the seasons. He removeth kings and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him.
Praise ya and praise ya. So, Deacon, that's what you were actually saying.
Praise yeah.
You know,
That's right.
because these things, yeah, when things are, you can pick it up from there, Deacon, to let us what is on your mind, because that's what sometimes Yahweh uses to stir up His people to go and read and gain understanding. So go ahead, Deacon, because you were saying the same thing here.
This is what I'm glad you went there, Elder, because this is what I was saying. I was meditating in Daniel and reading these things, and there's nothing new
Mm-hmm.
under the sun. And
That's right.
Daniel said some powerful words there. He says in verse let me see here.
You want to touch verse 19?
I was trying to see how far back to go, but he said verse
Yeah.
19, he says, see you praise you, one spirit. He
One
said,
spirit.
then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven, first thing foremost, because that's who
Yeah.
revealed it to him. And he prayed that all of he told the three servants that were with him, his companions, his brothers, y'all pray to Yahweh that he will reveal this thing. Because this is a strange situation in the sense that not only did he get a dream, but the king, though he forgot the dream, and the dream went from him. And his servants are like, man, this is a strange thing. Now you asking us to interpret the dream. You just tell us the dream, and then we'll tell you what it means. And he was like, ain't nobody ever requested to, like we ain't in your mind. And so they was like, there's no one that can reveal these things. And Daniel showed him otherwise, that no, there's an Elohim in heaven who answers
Praise God.
secrets.
Praise God.
And not only does he do that, he says, blessed be the name of Yahweh forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. They say, well, man is doing these things. They want to cause it to rain and bring things upon the earth. Yahweh said, no, I do all these things. He changes the seasons. He removes kings. Peter said,
Mm-hmm.
and sets up kings. And he gives wisdom, not no school. He said, I give wisdom to the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He reveals the deep and secret things, and he knows what's in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. See? And to you said, like with the Mashiach going back, why does he have to go back and say things that were written from thousands of years back? There's nothing new under the sun. And since you went there, can we go to Genesis first, Elder,
Oh,
real quick?
absolutely, Deacon.
You know, to show that there's nothing new under the sun. Yahweh's consistent in everything that he does. And Genesis chapter 41, there was another example of a king who had a dream, and he didn't understand what that dream meant. And he called his wise men and counselors, and they couldn't reveal the dream to him either. But
Mm.
there was a servant of Yahweh who was able to reveal these things to him. And he just so happens, they think it's a coincidence, but he just so happened to be in the prison at that time. And we know there's no coincidence with Yahweh. And so these things were revealed for him to be able to show the king what was on his mind, because Yahweh always
Mm-hmm.
deals with the kings. But chapter 41, if we pick it up, I guess we could pick it up at verse 1.
Okay.
And then we could jump around there. Not to
Genesis
delay the
chapter
time.
41, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine of fat flesh, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean flesh, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river.
Mm-hmm.
And the ill-favored and lean flesh kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke. And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon the stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh woke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was, excuse me, and there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant, to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dreams did he interpret. And it
Mm-hmm.
came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was, me he restored unto my office, and him he hanged.
Mm.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment, and came unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace.
You know
And
what,
Pharaoh said,
Elder? You
Mm.
know,
Yes, sir.
that's the reason why sometimes when things comes out of our mouth, we have to be very careful. Or
Mm,
thought that is in within you, you maybe think it's you directly is doing it, but it's the
Mm.
spirit is working through you. So
that's
you have
right.
to realize those stuff.
Mm.
Okay, I just want to say that, and you can continue if you want to elaborate on that. Any more, Elder and Deacon, you can do so. But just to point that out. Go ahead.
Right. No, you're 100% correct in that. Um, Genesis chapter 41, verse 16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat fleshed and well favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill favored and lean flesh, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the
Mm-hmm.
lean and the ill favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill favored as at the beginning. So I awoke.
Mm.
And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprang up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph said to Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. Elohim has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The
Mm.
7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the
Mm-hmm.
7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine.
Let's check up in
This is the
there.
thing. Okay.
Check up in there, Elder. I mean, back in verse 16, Joseph said to Pharaoh, Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace.
Mm.
Did Yahweh appear to Pharaoh?
No.
No, no, that's correct. But Yahweh used Joseph
That's
to
right.
deliver the thing. So that's the way Yahweh operate in this world. He's going to
Mm.
use his messenger. He's going to use his people, the
Mm.
people who he called to do his work. I just want you to understand that. So you think, we are taking credit. No, we are not taking credit. I
Mm.
just want to pop that out again. Yahweh
No,
don't
you're so
appear to.
right.
Yeah, but go ahead, man.
No, finish your thought, Elder. Sorry
No,
to
I
interrupt you.
mean, sometimes we think, because I mean, Yahweh will use you. Things are
Mm.
pondering on you. It's for a reason. He want us to discuss it, to see
That's
what you
right.
can get out of it to save a lot of lives. That's
Mm.
what Yahweh did. So
Mm.
things what is on your mind, don't be afraid. Yahweh will open up you and open up where we need to go and show you what's ahead. That's what Yahweh does to his people. So Yahweh needs his people to operate, effectively in this what we call earth. But go ahead and continue,
Yes,
elder.
sir. Verse 28. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Elohim is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there came 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there also shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by Elohim, and Elohim will shortly bring it to pass.
Mm.
Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out. Verse 33. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food that of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And the
Mm.
food shall be for store, and the food shall be for store to that land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perishes not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man
Mm.
in whom the spirit of Elohim is? And
Mm.
Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as Elohim has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise art as thou art.
Mm.
Thou shalt be over my house, and according to thy word shall all the people be ruled. Only the throne will I be greater than thou.
Mm.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt.
Mm.
Praise yeah, praise
Praise
yeah.
God. Yeah, we can stop there. You know, it's so deep, Elder, and that's the thing. This is why we have to be led by the Spirit, like you said. And it's a it's a it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Elohim. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we want to muzzle the things that it is that he may reveal to us. And people may think that, well, who do you think you are? This is why, in order to serve Yah, you have to have faith, and you have to boldly speak his word, because he will use you. And some people may be offended by that. But you have to know within yourself that if Yahweh has purpose for us all, and this is the thing that we have to deal with. Some people will misinterpret that as an arrogance, or and misunderstand that. No, Yahweh will reveal things to you, like you said, Elder. We speaking on this conversation, and then the Spirit reveals something to you, and it's one Spirit, because we're covering topics that Yahweh bring it back and constantly bring it back, and because He's already prepared it. That's how He did with Moshe. He gave word to Moshe and told him, "You go to Pharaoh." And then here comes Aaron. Well, He already spoke with Aaron too, and Aaron
Mm-hmm.
and him were one in agreement, because Yahweh is the master of all of this. He's the host of the battle, and He put this all together. We're just vessels being used as His will. Mother Shirley said, Yahweh uses His people as torchbearers even to this day. Praise Him. Indeed,
Praise yeah.
you know,
Praise yeah. Never
and
stop.
that's, and we have to be able to discern when it's the Spirit that's bringing something to us. This is why we have to meditate in His Word. It's like Pharaoh received this dream about, and it said kine. That's just an ancient word for cow. It's just the cows. So don't get thrown off by that. But how do cows eat? They chew the
Mm.
cud. So they eat
Mm-hmm.
the food, then they regurgitate the food and chew it
Mm-hmm.
again and
That's
digest
right.
it a second time. Well, that's what we have to do with the Word. See, that's why this book is not to be played with. The same way that they chew the cud. These are clean beasts. He said, you eat these beasts, they're clean unto you. They chew the cud. These ones, then they don't have the cloven hoof. It's specific. But that chewing of the cud, they eat their food one time, and then later on they bring it back up, and then they chew it and eat it again, and that two stomachs. So it gets purified within them. But I say all that to say that's what we have to do with the Word. We read the book,
Praise yeah. Praise
but then
yeah.
you have to meditate on the book and study the book, and chew that cud or that word, so He can bring things back to you. And if you don't do that, how can He reveal anything to you? See, this is important. This is why these things are instructions. This is why when we talk about the Shema, it's not suggestions. We misunderstand it like it's free will that He gave us. But if we don't seek Him, we won't find Him. He prompts us to seek Him. We just have to be in tune with it and respond accordingly. And if we don't, he's like, I got millions of people on the earth. I can raise up stones to do this. Like, who are we
Mm.
playing with? As if like we're some great one. No, we better take and make use of the opportunity and the time that He's given us. And this is why we encourage the people, yeah, be of good cheer, but make wise use of the time that Yahweh has given you, because He's not revealing these things to us just because He has nothing better to do. That's not why He's doing it. See, it's essential. These things are going to be what's going to strengthen us in these days and times and in the times to come, because it's a lot of dire things that's going to come upon this earth. It's like I said, we're not fear mongering. This is truth. These times are volatile, and they're going to get worse as we draw closer to our deliverance. We read the signs. We don't have to wonder what's going to happen. We're waiting for these seals to open. And Maya brought that up last week, that we're going to deal with that and dive into that, because guess what? Those seals being open is what's going to show us. That's the trumpet and the vial. The trumpet and the vial. Well, the trumpet is blown to warn the people of what's next to come. And then that wrath is going to be poured out through that vial. And if we're not in tune with what's written and don't even consider it, we're going to look upon the earth just like people are looking upon the earth now, like, oh, well, they always at war. Ain't nothing. Yeah, take note, because they're bringing about a lot of changes, and Yahweh's using them to do this. And He's revealing it, and He does it through the kings. He always does. And it's the kings. You got two kings right now who have destabilized the entire global market, if you would, being
That's so true.
warmongers in themselves. Two kings, and nobody's stopping them. They have aides, and they have other counterparts who are like, well, damn, you should have came to us and told us this. And they were even against it, if you would. But two kings have destabilized the entire earth
Word.
and everything that's going on in it. Trade and energy, every market, and just two kings. And we think that these things are not serious. No, He said, I raise up kings. This is what y'all said. I do that. He's troubling them with these dreams and troubling them with the things, and they're like, well, I got to do this. I got to do it. And yeah, they do. They really do. You know, I heard one of them say, I was chosen. He was. Yahweh got him there in that position just for these times to bring about what it is. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I know that Yahweh's in control of all of these things, and I trust him. And seeing the things that they're doing is true. It has to be true, because who put the kings on the earth? You know, and he's put it in their heart to fulfill his will. They can't help themselves, you know. And so it's just it's an amazing time that we live in. And so, you know, be of good cheer, people. This is what it, you know, we were in Matthew, we were going to go in Matthew. The disciples, they didn't receive a dream, but they were asking the meaning of some things. And so maybe we can cover that real quick, Elder. Yeah, I will.
Okay, praise yeah.
Praise Matthew chapter 24.
Yeah, I think we can take it
We
up
have
to
time to you
14. 14. You want to go ahead and read it? You want me to read it? Or the Ella to read it?
I'll read.
I'll
this
read.
one.
All right, Ella. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this is you said 1 through 14?
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yeshua said unto them, See you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be one left here. I'm sorry, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Hmm.
And
And
that
as
does
he
happen.
sat,
That does happen. Okay.
So what are they praying to in Jerusalem?
Mm.
Because they saying that
Oh
that's the temple wall.
no.
See, so Yeshua is lying. That's what they're trying to say. See, we got to prove all things. He say ain't gonna be one stone left, but they saying, well, this is the western wall or the eastern wall of the temple that remained. We know that was the fort, but
Yeah.
so they're calling Yeshua a lie. See,
Yeah. That's a reason. That's a reason why we need wise men. You know. I mean, when I said wise men, Yah's wise men to interpret these things, to us. I think you went a little bit quiet there, Deacon. I don't think your system is working right now.
no,
So if you
I'm
can,
here.
okay,
It was to provoke thought, because
okay,
it's a question.
okay,
Like,
okay,
if that's the temple, then Yeshua's lying. So somebody's
absolutely.
lying. And this
that's
is to
right.
make our people think somebody's telling a lie. And it's impossible for Yahweh to lie. And we
Mm-hmm.
know that the spirit that dwelt within Yeshua was he who created all things. So somebody's lying. See?
Praise yeah.
Yeah. Praise him.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when these things shall be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world.
Hmm.
And Yeshua,
Three,
and Yeshua
Three
three
questions.
men.
answered,
Yeah, three questions.
three questions
Yeah,
exactly.
three questions. They were the closest one to the Messiah, and there are three quality good questions. Laid on him. What should be the sign of the time of their coming and the end of the world, and when these things shall be. Three questions. Hear the answer that he gave them.
Praise him.
Praise God.
Verse 4. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
You see what
For
you see
nation
what he
shall.
said?
That's
You
right.
see what the Messiah said? He said, You shall hear wars and rumors of wars. But he said, Don't be troubled.
That's right. That's right. See?
Don't
Yeah.
be troubled.
So
And Yeah, go
just
ahead.
like Obi was saying, it said all
Yeah.
these things must come to pass. So,
That's
Must.
you know,
right.
it just spite on what
Mm.
you're saying, that they can't help themselves. These words were prophesied. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to come to pass. So it's with the understanding that we find peace, but they can't stop themselves.
Mm. Praise God. Praise
No,
God. I'm
sir.
glad
Praise it.
you. I'm
Praise.
glad you
Praise.
you mentioned that, Elder, because see that word is so key. He said these things must come to pass. Not it.
Mm-hmm.
Not possibly made. They must. See.
Must.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Praise God.
Praise God.
But
Exactly.
don't you be troubled. See, his disciples, they privately, he said, but don't you be troubled by it now. Just take note, mark it, be aware of it, but
Right.
don't be troubled. You know, that's why we say we're not fear mongering. No, but
That's
take
right.
note. Praise God.
So don't think that the Messiah is only talking to his disciple that's surrounding him, but he's
That's
also
right.
talking to his disciples in this time.
Mm. Teach.
Think about that. Yeah,
Praise God.
that's
That's
why
right.
we are here reading out of this book.
Praise
Yeah,
God.
go ahead.
Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
What? Read that
Mm.
verse again.
Mm.
Uh, all
Verse
these
8.
are the
Mhm.
beginning of sorrows.
Not
Mm.
the end. Not the end.
That's right.
The beginning of sorrows. Okay,
Mm.
so when this thing escalate up to a point, oh man, it's gonna be hard for all of us. As what the deacon said, look, your faith is what gonna take us through the whole ordeal.
Mm.
Yeah. It's not
Mm.
gonna depend on the leaders or the king of each country to satisfy the needs of the people. Yahweh is ready, for his people to return. So praise Yah. Whenever you're
Praise God.
ready,
Praise God.
go ahead.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill
Hmm.
you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then
All the
shall
wise
many be
men,
offended.
Mm-hmm.
all the wise men, all the wise men, Yah got, in this world today. That's what's gonna happen. That's the reason why we are teaching you these things. Things that happened back then, and now it's gonna happen now. Just wait and you will see. So when
Mm.
it comes around, as what the deacon, I have to re-emphasize this, what the deacon just stated, your faith in this word, that's what's going to take all of us through.
Teach.
Yeah, it's going to be put to the test, to the ultimate test. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, it's deep
Mm,
because when the children of Israel were in, we read a couple weeks ago in
mm-hmm,
Numbers, and we saw that, see, some brothers, because of the fear that they had in their heart and their faithlessness, they stirred up the people to go against what Yahweh said and caused the people to revolt against Yahweh's instruction and against Yahweh's goodwill that he had promised to them. And
that's
some
right.
men tried to stay them and say, no, man, we ain't, like, don't y'all know Yahweh's with us, man? We could take this city. The people are like bread in our hands. Don't you know? Don't you see? You know, like Elijah had to tell him, say, Yahweh opened his eyes. He didn't see, he saw the army coming, and he fearful. He didn't see the angels with swords in their hand, drawn. Yahweh, like,
Mm-hmm.
no, he said, Yahweh opened his
Right.
eyes. And it's the same thing today. But Elijah had that, he knew, and he had that faith. But those faithless men who came, they said, man, we be like grasshoppers in the sight of these men, and allowed their fear and faithlessness to overthrow the people and cause a whole bunch of people to fall. And it's nothing new under the sun. We're going to have people who are going to try to speak things that's going to discourage our faith, if you would. Yahweh can't save you. What's wrong with y'all people? What do people think it's blind faith. See? But if you don't believe, you won't see. This is the thing. He won't. Why would he reveal it to you? See? This world has taught seeing is believing. And this is how he's the prince of this earth. This is how he's deceiving us. He says, he that approaches unto Elohim must believe and know that you got to know that he going to do what he say. If you don't know that, why would he show you anything else more? See, he has a pattern. This is not me speaking. I'm saying we read and we study patterns. This is his pattern. If you don't believe, Moses didn't see the land or see the fullness of the promises, but he led the children of Israel in spite of their disobedience and their gainsaying and them saying, man, you done made yourself ready to smoke shade. He standing in the breach, and the whole time they were speaking against him. But he believed that much. Yahweh, but he trusted Yahweh and knew Yahweh showed him enough. He said, I've seen your power, Yahweh. I know your hand ain't short. If you say it's going to go down like that, I believe you. And we have to have that same faith and not let our faith be overthrown by the fear of few and their lack of faith, and let their faithlessness, if you would, cause us to fall and cause us to doubt. Because this is why, like Ella was saying last week, Ella Hoshea said that the battlefield is in the mind. And this is where it is. See, Satan playing with our mind. He wants us to doubt and fear. You know, I heard someone say fear is fake evidence appearing real. And it will cause us to lock up, paralyze us where we can't even move forward and do what it is that we need to do. And we have to be able to work through that. It'll cause us anxiety and all kinds of issues. Like, people go get counseling for that. But all those answers are here in this book. It's the faith and prayer unto Yahweh. He gives you the power to overcome that fear and anxiety. You know, this is what the men said to the king. We were reading about Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, when they were brought before the king. They said, look, we are not going to speak careful. We're not going to speak careful when it comes to this matter. We know our Elohim is able to deliver us. But even if he don't, we're not going to bow down and worship your image, bro. See? We're not going to do that. So they didn't let that anxiety, the king said, heat the fire up 7 times, man. Now that right there is going to cause anxiety. They were bound and thrown. They didn't have no say, so no choice in the matter. They couldn't even, they got bound and thrown in it. But they overcame it by that faith. Yahweh strengthened them, and he gave them that peace of mind to know that, hey man, I'm with you. Don't you worry about what this man and what he's saying he's going to do now. See, because I'm able to deliver you from that. And you got to believe that. That's what they say. Even if you don't do it, we still not going to worship. That's the faith that we have to have. You know,
Praise
and it's not that we have it like that, but the point is that's why he gave us all these examples. This is why we're reading it. He says the things that were written aforetime were for your learning. It's for our learning. But if we don't meditate and read it, how can we learn and grow? See, yeah, this is why we wrestle with things. He says, settle it in your hearts. Settle it in your hearts. Just accept it. This is what's going to happen. He says, settle it in your hearts. You work that out in your heart. That this is what you're going to have to do. And these are some of the things you're going to have to overcome. Settle it in your heart. You already know. Consider it not strange, this fiery trial you're going to go through. Don't start getting anxious on me and bug out. Just settle in your heart. Just understand it's already going to go down. This is what Yahshua telling them. Be not troubled. I already telling you, these things they must come to pass. So don't be troubled. But praise God. Sorry for going long-winded. But these things are real. I mean, this is how it's revealed unto us, and it's like hot food that we can't contain. Yeah.
Praise God. You're absolutely right, Deacon, because he let you know the end from the beginning. I mean, and that's love. Anywhere you want to take it, that's love. It's letting us know exactly what's going to come to pass before it happens. So, praise God.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Praise
When you
God.
therefore see
Hey,
I'm
we
sorry.
can stop. You want to go further, Deacon?
That
Because
last verse that he's reading is key
yeah.
because he answered the first two questions, but this is
Mm-hmm.
the third answer for the third question that they asked. You know, they wanted to know that sign.
Verse
It's a yeah, praise God. That one verse, 15. That's all.
Oh,
verse
15.
15.
Go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Mm,
Then let them which
that's
be
it
in
here.
Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, nor on the Sabbath day. For then shall the great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days be shortened, there should be no there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Praise
Praise
God.
And
it.
if any man
Praise
shall
it.
say unto you, Lo, here is the Mashiach, or there, believe it not, for there shall for there shall rise false prophets. I'm sorry, for there shall rise false Mashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch as inasmuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect.
Mm,
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chamber, believe it not. For as the
Praise
lightning
yeah.
cometh out of
You
the
don't have to.
east and I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to go any further. You want him to go and
Okay.
take it further, Deacon?
No, I'll leave it at you, Elder. You know,
Yeah.
just you see what he said in verse if you read verse 30, it says, "Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and great glory." Because they asked him, "What's going to be the sign of your coming?" That's the sign. That's what he telling them. You're going like lightning come from the east to the west. He said that you're going to see that, and then he said he said this is going to be the sign of the Son of Man. Because they asked him, "What's going?" He answered all their questions.
Right.
Just like when Pharaoh wanted to know the answer to his dream, he gave him the full. Yahweh revealed it unto Joseph, the full interpretation. There was nothing to wonder. Yeshua doing the same thing. He said, "Hey man, behold, I've told you before." The same like his father, I declare the beginning from the end. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Now you believe it or not, but he laid it all out. These are the signs, and these people, you got these preachers telling the people, "Well, we about to be raptured. This about to happen. The Messiah could come any day." That's not what
Nah.
he said. So don't be
Right.
troubled by these things and deceived by these people who are not even being led by the Spirit. They're being led by a spirit, but that's not the spirit of truth. There's a spirit in them. See, they got the spirit of the prince of this world, the prince of this earth. See, and his allowed his angels to be transformed into ministers of light, and they're deceiving our people. See, and our people are being caught up in it. But don't get caught up, and this is what we want to encourage our people. But no, we don't have to go no further. I just want to just drive the point home. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart, and do not disregard His Son, because that is who you see who they were asking. They didn't go and ask Yahweh. You tell us. See, because this is what He told John. I am the way, the truth, and the life. This is who
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh sent. You can't sidestep the Mashiach. See, this brother laid down his life for us to be able to receive these things. We can't sidestep him. We cannot, And then, so that's what this is what we read every Shabbat. Yeah. So praise Yahweh lives.
Praise yeah,
Praise Yah.
praise yeah. I just want Elder. I think 2 classes ago you asked a question, and I told you Matthew 24 and verse 16. I was kind of aiming at verse 16. Then he said, "Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains." Not only in the north or other country our people going to be, but our people is going to be in the land. But at time, when they see the abomination of desolation, they have to get out and get into the wilderness too, because the Messiah warned them not to return until when they return. But we're people already. They're gonna do the opposite,
Mhm.
but we still have to show mercy to them too, because
Mm.
everyone needs salvation. So praise yeah, praise
Praise
Yahweh
Yah.
once again.
Praise God.
Deacon, you wanna anything more?
No, praise Yah, Elder. We could get into the main body. I know we took it a little long, but it's important, and so praise
Yeah,
Yah. It's not of us, because it's like you say, Yahweh give us things for a reason, and He puts things on our mind for a reason, so that we can speak about these things, because somebody needs to hear it. See,
praise yeah,
yeah, praise Yah for
praise
His
yeah.
mercy.
Praise Yah.
Likewise, praise yeah. All right, all right. Now, what we'd like to do now is to return to the main body. We're gonna return where we left off last week in the book of Isaiah. I think we're gonna pick it up at Isaiah 51. And Deacon, can you go ahead and let us know what the title of today's class is on discussion?
Yes, sir, my elders. The title for today's class is the Book of the Prophet Isaiah, and this is part 21.
Mm-hmm.
Part 21. Praise it.
Praise God. So whenever you're
Isaiah
ready,
chapter.
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Elder.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 1. Hearken unto me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek Yahweh. Look unto the rock whence you are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence you were digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and to Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him.
Mm,
For Yahweh shall comfort Zion, he shall comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahweh. Joy
mm,
and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody.
mm,
Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation, for a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people.
mm,
My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and my arm shall judge the people. The isles shall wait upon me, and on my arm shall they trust.
And who's that arm?
Lift up.
See, that arm is the Mashiach. See,
Mm,
that
that's
arm is the
right.
Mashiach. This is why we say we cannot sidestep the Mashiach. See, he said they on my arm they're gonna trust. We got to trust in him. See, yeah, because he was who Yahweh sent forth as that propitiation for us. And he's the only one who walked perfect, like my elder was saying, in the spirit of the law, showing us, not just telling us, but showing us how we should walk. Gave us an example, so we would be without excuse. We have something to pattern our lives after, you know. Yeah, praise God.
Praise
That's
yeah.
right. Praise you.
Deacon, you said something to pattern, our, give us that direction. And he has said us um in verse 2, he said, look unto Abraham, your father, and
Mm,
unto Sarah that bear you. I call him alone and bless him and increase him.
mm,
So he already set that statue, ahead of us. So whatever Abraham does, we have to follow that same example.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
because if you go back into the book of Genesis, you will see where, you know, Abraham continued to teach his people, the
Mm,
law and the commandments. So why would he tell you to look back to your forefather Abraham?
see, see that
Go ahead.
foundation, elder.
That foundation. That's what I'm
Didn't he
talking
say?
about.
That's why he called him his friend. He said, "I know he gonna
Yeah.
teach his children. I know what he gonna do."
Yep.
Yeah, praise yeah, praise yeah. Mm.
Yep.
We
Praise
got to
yeah.
rehearse the righteous acts, the Mashiach, he did not leave out Abraham. He told them, the people was like, well, our father Abraham. He said, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it. And they did not, and they were ready to stone him because he said that. They missed it. See,
Yeah.
and here it is. We read it. He said, you consider your father Abraham and look unto Sarah. You know, and he didn't just say, look, he said, so he gave to show you that he did not, he's speaking to his family. He didn't leave off our sisters. He said, you consider Sarah. See?
Absolutely.
Think about what she did. She laughed within herself. Can Yahweh give me a child? She laughed, but she still believed. She just laughed within herself. She's like, I'm old. Like, she chuckled to herself, if you would. You know, and the angel heard it. He said he heard it, but she did it within herself. She said, I know I did it. He said, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You know, and it's the same way that he's dealing with us. But he didn't leave us off. He didn't leave our sisters off. He said, you consider Sarah. She was an example too. He said, and if you follow, you be the daughters of Sarah.
Praise
And brothers just belittle our sisters as if they don't have a role to play, and that's not correct. That's not correct. Why did Yahweh give Abraham a wife? He said, no, she's going to bear you the son. You see? She tried to reconcile the thing like, well, I'm getting old. Maybe take my handmaid. She tried to, you know, that it was a shame to not be able to give her. She wanted to give her husband a son. She just wanted to give her husband a son. She wanted this thing to come to pass. And so she in her mind reconciled it. It's okay. And then it turned on her. And then she told him, my iniquity be on you, man. You know. And he was like, hey, do what you please with your body. And Yahweh said, no, and all that she said, hearken unto her. See? He understood. I understand she just wanna bring it about, but I'm gonna prove her faith. I'm gonna make her learn faith to be faithful. And that means you have to trust in something that you really can't see. I'm an old woman.
Right.
Is my master Abraham gonna have, are you serious? And she laughed within herself, but she didn't say, well, no, it's impossible. She just laughed within herself, being human. That's not like you know, the angel didn't smite her and say, "Oh, she's wicked." No, he just told her.
You make a good distinction. You make a good distinction. You know, she did. She laughed within herself, and like you said, probably just her own situation. You know, I'm 90 years old, and she just kind of laughed within, but it wasn't received as a lack of faith, where she began to question, can Yah do this? And that's what we saw with Zechariah when he came into the temple with Zechariah and basically told Zechariah that Elizabeth was going to bring forth John the Baptist. Zechariah began to question it. And he, told him, I'm Gabriel. I was sent to you with this good news. And because you're questioning it and questioning the power of the Most High Yah, I'm going to cause you to be deaf and dumb for a minute. Well, cannot speak. He can still hear. But that wasn't done to Sarah. So, Sarah was able to hear. It wasn't counted as a lack of faith. She just laughed within herself. And there's a distinction that it wasn't questioning the power of, the Most High Yah. She knew that Yah could do what he said he would do. And believed that, but just kind of laughed at the thought within herself of being 90 years old, giving birth. Yeah.
Praise yeah. Praise yeah. Like just like we human, same way. Yeah. That's what we read and meditate. We got to look at the distinctions, because some people will highlight that. Oh, see them women. See, and because I've heard that, but it shows their lack of understanding. See, that's not what the angel said. That's why you don't judge the matter before the time now. The angel didn't say that.
That's right.
And here it is, it's written in the book. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah. Look unto them. Yeah. Praise Yah.
Great examples, man. Yeah.
Praise Yah. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 6. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they shall dwell therein, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished.
Praise Yah.
Hearken unto me, you that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear you not the reproach of men, neither be you afraid of their revelings. For the
I
mouth,
mean,
for
you,
Why
you
did he
know,
have to say that?
Elder, that, correct.
See,
Correct,
because that's what they're
Deacon.
gonna do. That's exactly what they're
Yeah.
gonna do. Go ahead, Elder.
Yeah.
One
I
spirit.
mean,
Man, praise God.
I know. I mean, what is righteousness? You
Hmm.
know, what is righteousness? As you explained, you know, in whose heart is my law.
Hmm.
So you need his law to rest in your heart. If it's not in your heart, something is wrong with you. There is no righteousness in you. So you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know, that is important. Praise yeah.
Praise God.
Yeah, go ahead when you're ready,
verse
man.
8, verse 8, for the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the
Mm-hmm.
worm shall eat them like wool. But my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation.
Praise yeah.
Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yahweh. Awake as in the ancient days and the generations of old. Art thou not it that hath cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Are thou
Mm.
not it which has dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, that have made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? Therefore, the redeemed of Yahweh shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away.
Praise yeah. You know, we have
Hmm.
to look on a few things that has been said here. You
Hmm.
notice Isaiah wasn't born in those times, but you know, he went all the way back into history
Hmm.
when we come, when the children of Israel were coming out of Egypt. You know, so why would he, you know, go back so far? You know, so it is like a way is trying to, you know, preach or say to us that we have to go back in history to
Hmm.
see the examples of our forefathers and what Yahweh have done for them and what Yahweh is going to do for you in the future. That's is so important. And we have to take those words to heart. We have to follow unless we're going to be in great trouble. Great trouble.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're
That's
going to
right.
be a lot and yeah, a lot on our shoulder. It's going to be hard to get off. You have to use this word to empower you inside out. And that's the only choice we have because righteousness is important. Praise yeah.
Hmm. Praise God. Elder, you know, I'm glad you said that. In Romans chapter 15, verse 4, it says, we
Mm-hmm.
spoke on this earlier, but just to, we say prove all things. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime, or that, so this is the history, the past, it was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. See? And we're reading this. Yahweh said that he's going to comfort his people. See? He says, hearken unto me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek Yahweh. Look unto that rock from whence you're hewn. Look unto Abraham your father, and to Sarai that bear you. For Yahweh shall comfort Zion, and I will comfort all her waste places, he says, and make her
Mm-hmm.
wilderness like Eden. Well, how does he comfort us? Like you just said, Elder, if we don't read it, this is why he said the things that were written before, they were for your learning and for you, that we through patience and hope, or we through patience rather, and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. This is what comforts us if we receive it. This is our food. He said, give us our daily bread. This is it. It's that word. You got natural food that we consume, but this is a delicacy. Yahweh has provided for us a bountiful delicacy of food. This is like you go into a food bar
Mm-hmm.
and one of them like a you know I ain't big on them places like Golden Corral or what have you, but that's how he has the food in the but like a buffet, a spiritual buffet this is what he's given
Right.
to us. If we utilize it, if we don't, we miss it. You know, the law of use. There's a thing called if you don't use it, you lose it. It's a
That's
fact.
right.
If you have ambition and you don't use it, it diminishes over time. If I
That's
tie
right.
my arm to my body and don't use it, I'm going to lose the use of that arm. Period. There's a law to that.
Absolutely.
There's no way around that. See? And if we don't use this mind, like our elder always says, don't sit on your brain, we will lose the things that he's given to us. See? He said when that seed is planted, even that, he says, some receive. But he said, then some, he says, he takes away that which they even had to begin with. He'll take it away if we don't use it. See? And if we doubt, we don't believe, he'll take away that which we even thought we had to begin with when we came. See?
That's right.
He's not to be played with. And this word is not to be played with. This is food for our bone. This is what he says, nourishment for our body. And this is what's going to sustain us. This is how he's sustaining us and strengthening us and preparing us for the times that's to come. If we use it, you know, accordingly. Right. Yeah.
Praise
God. Praise God.
Verse 10, are thou not it which has dried the sea, the waters of the great deep, that have made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? Therefore the redeemed of Yahweh shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. I, even I, am he that comforteth you. Who art thou that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man which shall be made as grass? And forgetteth Yahweh thy Maker, that have stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread shall fail. But I am Yahweh thy Elohim, that divided the sea, whose waves roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens, and lay the foundation of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people.
Praise Yah.
Awake, praise Yah. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drank at the hand of Yahweh the cup of his fury, that has drank the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she has brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up. These two things are come unto thee, who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword, by whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of fury. They are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of thy Elohim. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy Adonai, Yahweh, and thy Elohim that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, and the dregs of the cup of my fury, and thou shalt no more drink it again. But I will put it in the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to my soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over.
Praise and praise that. So the script has been turned, it's flipped over now. It flipped to the other side now. So no more, of our people will actually, do the things that, had happened to us because of our disobedience. Yahweh has flipped that script and is looking for, the house of Israel to return, for Yahweh to bless them with his glory. So we praise Yahweh for, everything that he's going to do for us. Thank him for his word. So, when we talk about faith, we have to have faith in this word, that Yahweh is the one that's going to perform this act for us, and he's going to do it. It's a matter of time. So, so we all have to continue to have faith in him and let that faith grow in you tremendously, so that, we can receive all these gifts that Yahweh have in place for the house of Israel.
Mm.
So
You're so
praise
right
Yah.
there, Lord. Praise Yah. It said the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that
Mm-hmm.
that he should not die in the pit, nor his bread should fail. That's what we're dealing with. The captive
Absolutely.
exiles, and we're waiting, and we're like, man, Yahweh, come get us out of here now, because our bread is about to run out, and we fear it says that and they fear continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor. He said, but where's the fury of the
Absolutely.
oppressor? We're supposed, like, this is not, he said, he's like, I know what you're going through. This is why it's comforting, because Isaiah, we know he's a prophet, because look at what is written. Because this is what the people fearing. They're like, don't you hear what these people talking about? Don't you see the power they got? He said, but where's the fury of the oppressor? When you understand that Yahweh is the one that raised him up and has put him in a position to do what he's doing, just so he can bring about his word. He's like, where is it? The captive exile is hate, but this is why we have to have faith, and the Mashiach told his disciples, then shall men betray one another. See, and Isaiah said, "Hey, don't fear to reproach a man, because they are going to reproach you, and the things that Yahweh gives up, they're going to hate you for it. Don't worry. He's telling you, he's preparing us. He's letting you know, look, man, this is what. Just settle it in your heart. just and take comfort in these things. Don't be discouraged by that, because it's going to happen. And men will betray one another, and then and all these things that have been prophesied are going to take place, and we got to, like you said, have faith and trust that Yahweh is going to do what it is that he said. And it's a lot of us say, well, it's not fair. I looked up that word. There's a Hebrew word for just, but there is no Hebrew word for fair. See, Yahweh does what he pleases. If he was, we better be glad he's not fair, because according to the word, we should all be dead. If he was fair in that manner, we wouldn't stand a chance. He's just, and whatever he does is righteous. See, so this is a construct of man's mind and imagination about, well, it's not fair. Why he allowed this to happen? Man, we better be glad that he's not fair, because for what our fathers did, he would have cut the whole nation off. That's what he kept telling Moshe: get out the way, bro. I'll disinherit these folks and make a nation out of you if I was fair. But you want fairness. Right. That's not what you better be glad. Yahweh, he's just. He's the habitation of justice. See?
Right.
And that's what we have to focus on. Whatever he does is righteous. The people question, he said, you think my ways are unequal, your ways are unequal. This is what he keeps telling them.
Right.
But mankind has boasted us up and puffed us up to think that whatever we come to and imagine is okay and acceptable before Yahweh. We need to hearken and be mindful and careful of the things that we utter before Yahweh, because we could bring a lot of trouble on ourselves by doing that, not understanding who we're dealing with. They were thinking, Moses, you brought us out here to die. Yahweh heard all them words, and he was like, you hear them? He said, I heard what they say and how they murmured against me, and I'm gonna deal with them for that. And he said, none of them ain't going in my land. I don't care what you say, Moses. You ain't gonna be. Eli, he told Eli, them sins that your son committed, you ain't gonna be able to purge that away with no offering. Because you saw what he said, I done sent my man unto you, my messenger, to warn you, and you didn't correct it. And he said, you ain't never going to be able to purge away that sin with your sacrifices. Matter of fact, he told Samuel, brother, tell him, get your house in order, bro. I'm going to take you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to take the ark out, I'm going to kill them sons of yours too, and curse your seed. Yahweh is not to be mocked or played with, is the point of what we're saying. And we should trust his word, because he's given us too many examples to show us that he means what he says. He means exactly what he says. And we should take comfort in that. That's comforting. That means that if he says he's going to do it, he'll do it. So we should trust him. Yeah. That's what I was saying from that. Praise God.
Praise God for this word, Deacon. Well, at this time, Deacon, let's continue. And this vision that Isaiah
Mm,
trying to highlight, to Yah's people. We're gonna
praise
pick
God.
up chapter unless the elder have something to say, then we'll just go ahead and to chapter 52.
Praise God.
Praise God. Praise
Right
God.
there.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
Mm.
Mm. Shake thyself from the dust. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith Yahweh, you have sold yourselves for naught, and you shall be redeemed without money.
That's
Mm,
right. I mean,
mm,
that's exactly right. We have sold ourselves into captivity for
mm,
because guess what? It wasn't pertaining to money. It was just our behavior. We failed to follow the instruction that is written here. You
mm.
know, yeah. So we need to look at ourselves and still it Yahweh redeem us back by sending His Son. To redeem us back according to the law.
Mm.
So isn't that love? I
Praise
cannot
God.
look at it no other way but love that He has for us.
Yes, sir. Mercy,
Yeah,
brother. Indeed. And
absolutely.
these preachers, that's how you know they don't read this. See, because they telling the people, you got to pay them tithes to be redeemed. You gotta spend. They want that money. If you don't give me your tithes and give me that money, you ain't gonna receive no blessing. This is what they telling them. But Yahweh say you've been redeemed without money.
That's
See,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely
Real
right.
quick, as our sister Samara has a question. She says, "Shalom. I have a question regarding faith. We know that the Bible tells us that faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. But
Mm-hmm.
as flesh, it becomes increasingly hard sometimes to stay motivated when times get rough.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have faith, sometimes life can continue to bring you down. I know through prayer and meditation, Yah will bring you ease. But I guess my question is, what should we do when the flesh continues to put negativity in your heart? Sometimes flesh can make you feel like your partners, or that your prayers rather, aren't being heard. See, that's a question. What can we do? See, so what say you, Elder? Because we know David went through this. David cried unto Yahweh. He was like, I cried all day long, and he didn't hear me, but he heard him. But I'm gonna make you wait, and we receive comfort from that we are flesh and that we all are gonna feel weak and we're gonna go through these periods. And like Elder Hoshea was saying last week, well, the battlefield is in the mind. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, Yahweh's not answering my prayer, and it's getting harder. And we understand that, sister. But what you got to do in those times, that's when you got to really dig down deep and trust Yahweh even more, and stay through the book. When the prophet went up into that, he started to fear because Jezebel said, um, "I'm gonna kill." She said, "By the time this time tomorrow, you're gonna be like the prophets that you killed of mine. You're gonna be a dead man." Now Yahweh done revealed all these things to him, and he feared, just like and because he's flesh, and he went up and he's praying to Yahweh, and he saw the wind come. It was a terrible like a storm, and he ran out to see, and Yahweh wasn't in that. He's like, "Man, Yahweh, you're not answering. I'm left alone. They killed your prophets, they dug down your altars, and I'm just here left alone." And then it was that still small voice, that little wind. He went out fine again the third time, and it was this little still small voice. And Yahweh comforted him and answered his prayer. And he told him, "Hey man, I've reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed their knee at the image of Baal. You ain't alone." And he gave him comfort, but he made him go through it. And he allowed him to go through that just to prove. And David went through that. All the holy men went through that. So don't feel no way, my sister. I mean, I know my elder's going to respond as well. But don't feel no way just because you're going through that. It's not that your prayers aren't being heard. Yahweh will answer you in the manner that he wants to, in the time that he sees fit. But a lot of times that enduring and that time of stress when it feels like he's not responding, that's to strengthen you and to get you to trust in him. Because he may not answer at the time that we want, because see, it's like, why do I have to go through this situation? It's so rough. Well, going through that situation is what's going to strengthen you and toughen you up for the times to come. And a lot of times we'll pray, Yahweh, take this trial away from me. But Yahweh be like, I just delivered you to that trial. It's already, and you want me to take, I'm delivering you to that trial to get you prepared for something bigger down the road that you may not see right now. You may just not see it. But that's why he said, count it all joy. It's not, that's not weird. It's not saying, oh, I'm just so glad that I'm in this trial. I just love this trial that I'm in. That's not what he's saying. You know, count it all joy is a matter of changing your perspective to see that, well, maybe he's preparing me for something that I can't see, or for something later on down the line. Maybe he's even counting me worthy to do something to encourage someone else. So when they're in the same situation that you're in now, my sister, saying, yeah, why is it so? Well, you may be able to give someone else encouragement and say, hey, I know how that feels. Because who feels it knows it. And if you don't go through it, you won't be able to express it to someone else to be able to show them after he takes you off of that, out of that miry clay, if you would, and puts you up on a solid rock. But he lets you go through that miry clay so that when he puts you on that rock, you can appreciate it even more and be able to be of encouragement or hope to someone else. Because where you're at, my sister, and what you're asking, I go through this. Like, this is why I'm speaking on it so passionately, because I'm telling you, I know exactly how you feel, and I know that feeling, and I take comfort in the things that I read as well, and use that to build me up, to show me that, and then I go back and I check the stats. This is something that you heard us say. We reflect, and I remember the things that Yahweh has done. It gets rough sometimes, you know. I mean, I could go in detail of some things that we deal with, but who am I? It's just, but I tell you one thing: I do know who it is that gives me strength, and I do know that He will allow you to go through some things to make you trust in Him even more. And so, take comfort in those things, even though it may sound strange, it may sound contradictory. You know, it's not that He doesn't hear you, but when you go through that, you can receive encouragement and reflect on your life and check the stats. Encourage yourself in Yahweh and look at the things that He's brought you through in other times, in other situations, and reflect on that. It's not that He's leaving you alone. It's just these things and those thoughts that come, that negativity that comes, like, oh, why am I going? I shouldn't be. Those things happen for a reason too. That Satan will come try to, that's the flesh. We all go through this. So don't feel no way about that. We all go through this. It feel like your prayers ain't getting no higher than the ceiling above you. Yeah. Those times are the times that you learn to trust in Him even more and reflect on the things that you've gone through in the past and encourage yourself to be able to just, you got to encourage yourself in Yahweh. David went through that. The men were speaking of stoning him. His wives got taken. His children were taken. All the men's wives were taken. And he's like, man. And what did he inquired of Yahweh. Yahweh, should we go up? And Yahweh said, yeah, go up. And he had to strengthen himself. Some of the men were so weak, they couldn't even come to the battle with him. That's how bad it had broke them down. And he told them, now y'all just stay with the stuff. Because some just couldn't deal with it. And Yahweh deals with us according to whatever He gives us. He doesn't give you more. That old saying, He don't give you more than you can bear. He said He knows He gives it according to every man's several ability. To one He gave 2. To one He gave 5. And they multiplied it. And they had to go through their trials as well. But what they did with it, He gave them according to their several ability and what they were able to handle. So it's not more than you can bear, but he's preparing you for something, my sister. You know, so don't be discouraged. Our mother Shirley said, "My sister, read Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 through 21, and be encouraged by the words." And it's Yahweh's words. Praise Yah, mother. Um, Sister Athalia said, "Hallelujah. In all things we have to give thanks and praise to Yah." But forgive me for the long answer, Elder. What say you, my elders, to our sister Samara to give us some encouragement?
Well, I
Elder,
wanted to chime
go ahead.
in. I wanted to chime in on that. And by all means, we begin to learn to give Yah thanks in all things. And that's it's what we perceive to be good or bad, but just give him thanks in all things. I've also gone through some of these type things, and sometimes, like Brother Obi just mentioned, really putting things in a different perspective. I've gone through things where I'm desiring certain things to, with the intentions to do good with these things, and they're not coming the way I necessarily want them to come. And there's certain times where I have to look at everything and put everything in perspective, and I realize I have everything I need. I have everything I need right in front of me, and it's that, when I replace the worry, the negativity with gratitude, in terms of every day he's faithful to give us this day our daily bread. Every day he's faithful to, wake us up out of bed. So a lot of times it's those small things that we can take for granted, that we're being blessed every morning with new tender mercies, every morning with new opportunity. And when we begin to count those things, it does help in terms of Satan, or negativity kind of getting into our mind, getting into our flesh, because you're able to see your Father working. You're able to see him working daily. You're able to see his mercies, his grace, his long suffering. And these are things that we want to be thankful for in the midst of in the midst of our prayer, in the midst of
Elder, you're muted.
Oh,
oh man.
Yeah,
I'm
finish
sorry.
your thought. Finish your
I,
thought.
I apologize. I went through a whole
No,
I went
we
through a
No,
heard
whole
most of
no,
it.
thing.
no.
You just muted a little while ago.
Oh, it's
Just
just
like the
muted.
last
Okay,
sentence, I
okay.
think it was. Yeah.
Okay. So, so that would be, that just be one of the things that I really, want to make sure that we're doing. And that's just really counting our blessings and counting all that, he's so merciful to provide for us. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of times where we talked about this last week, where there's certain things that we pray for that requires a process, requires preparation before this can be answered. Or even if the answer is no, if the answer is no for a reason. It's not necessarily no as a punishment. It's no to save you from a lot of things that will come your way if this was granted. So, you just really have to understand that, Yah being a father and a perfect father, putting all trust in him, putting all thanksgiving, giving him thanks, giving him praise, giving him honor, being grateful for everything that he does. All these things help until the until that word, that prayer is answered. But in the meantime, we have every reason to be thankful and just to be you know joyful and hopeful. So praise Yah.
Mhm.
Praise yeah. I
Praise God.
mean, elder and deacon, you have said a lot, and what else can I say? But my first, if I go back, you know, my first elder, I went to him one day and said, "Man, I can't retain anything at all, and what's going on?" Because of so many distractions around you, and as what the deacon said, that negativity, you have to replace it with positive. But the question is, how are you going to replace it with positive things. It's kind of hard when you're not given the chance even to think. So that is when, I went to my elder, my first elder, and he said, just open the book and just read. Stay away from all those distractions. If you have to lock the door, the TV, turn off the TV and just read. Don't choose where you want to go. Just open the book. If you want to start at Genesis 1, verse 1, and just read. Just read until you get tired. And
Mm.
the reason why I said that is like what it does, it takes you, after a while, you continue reading, it takes your mind off the outside world and started to straighten you out in that direction that you need to go. Because we could read a million and one things out of the book to you. It wouldn't make any sense because your brain is not gravitating on it. It's not pulling it towards you readily. Even though it helps. If I said it helps to be around positive people, your mom, and so on and so on. Elders, the deacons, to ask questions. It helps a lot. But one of the things that really, really helped me, I just open the book. When I have so many distractions, I turn off my phone, turn off my TV, I turn off everything and just start read. And that spirit, these word is gonna curve you back on that correct route.
Mm.
You know, that should help a lot. And if it do happen over and over, continue to do the same thing, because that will push the devil away, because he's going to entice you with everything that the flesh needs. And it goes for all of us. We need this, we need that. The flesh is always in need. And it doesn't make any sense. I tell you, if you made a step that is incorrect, you go outside Yahweh's law, don't dwell in it. Pray, ask Yahweh for forgiveness. How I'm going to know if Yahweh forgive me? Because experience, sometimes says a lot, or says a lot, because that experience that you're going through, it's just like sometimes Yahweh is using you to help someone who's going to go through the same, dilemma also.
Mhm.
So the best remedy, for me, because even my first elder, I didn't expect that he went through the same dilemma. And he said, man, all I have to do, I just open the book and just read, and you put yourself to bed. That's what I'm saying. Just read.
Mm.
After a while, that whole chemistry and everything, after most are gonna dwell with you, because when Yahweh see that you really need help and you are sticking to the guns and just reading, he's gonna bring back everything to you that is right in his eyes. So that's all I can say, my sister. Just read. Read.
Mm.
It doesn't matter where you want to open it. I'm not gonna tell you love one, story more than the other. Just read. Anywhere you want to read, just open the book and just read. Don't even worry about explanation or what this prophet is saying or whatever. Just read. Yahweh will bring back everything to you. And if there's a question, the bodies of the keepers of the house of light is here, to help you, to go through that, because we also go through it every single day.
Mm.
Sometimes we fall, but Yahweh lift us back because we open the book of righteousness and just read. So praise Yahweh. I praise Yahweh for all the suggestion and the answers, from the elder and deacon and from the rest of the members too. It's important, but little by little you'll regain your strength, and I hope that help not only you, but each and every one, whose desire is to walk righteous, in Yahweh. So praise Yah.
Appreciate
Praise
it.
God, Elder. Our mother Shirley said, yes, Elder Oshia, exercising the gift of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Our sister Samara said, thank you and praise Yah. She said, sometimes I feel like Yah is upset with me. and wonder,
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing wrong? I know the feeling. But I believe
Yeah.
that some things are a test of faith. Sister
Absolutely.
Atalia said, hallelujah. And
Absolutely.
that's it right there. You answered your question right there.
Yeah.
It's a, some things are a test of faith. We know
Yeah.
there's chastisements, and we know that there's tribulations. And our sister Nation, the praise, she said, praise Yah. The
Yeah. Pray.
and like Ella said, just read the book because we get comfort. Can I read something
Yep.
to you, my sis? 2 verses, three
Go ahead.
verses. This is James chapter 1. It's something we read
Mm-hmm.
frequently, but it's very important. James chapter 1. It's just 3 verses, verse 2 to 5. 2 to 4. Forgive me. That'll be 4 verses. It says, "My brethren and my sisters, see, it's my family. Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations or trials,
Mm-hmm.
knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience." This is why you have to wait. See, because it's working patience. But then it says, "But let patience have her perfect work." See, if he cuts it too short, patience can't have her perfect work within us. See? So this is why sometimes he won't respond immediately. It's so patience can have its perfect work. And he said that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. See? It's a process. That's the thing. It's like Elder always say, like if you ask Elder a question, he's not going to just give you the answer. He's going to make you go through the process to figure it out so he can see because a lot of times you'll answer your own question in the process.
That's right.
Some teachers say, hey, don't give me if you just give them the answer, they'll say, no, I need to see the work. And they'll fail you for that. They'll say, no. They say, well, maybe you cheated. Now, some things, that's how it comes to us because everybody learned different. But guess what? That process helps you to resolve things and work things out. So let patience have her perfect work. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. That's the main thing. Don't be discouraged, my sister. You stay strong and you hang in there and just continue to pray and increase your faith. Don't let it make your faith diminish. Increase your faith.
Right.
Yahweh's upset with me. You don't know what's in Yahweh's mind about you because see, this is why James said this. Let patience have her perfect work. That don't mean he just you hang in there. Sister Athalia said, when you're being refined, it's a very painful process.
Mm-hmm.
Growing comes with a lot of pain, as they call it, growing pains, right? It's very important to endure unto the end, my sister. Like the elder said, just keep reading. Mother Shirley said,
Yeah.
yes, Elder Uriah, meditation. The word brings comfort and peace. And our
Praise
sister
yeah.
Athalia, she followed up back, endure unto the end. That's right. We have to endure to look. What does that word endure mean? See,
Mm.
I'm gonna look it up for you. See, because these words were written. It says, I mean, we know what it means, but just to give
Yeah.
perspective, like my elder was saying, perspective is so important. It says in the biblical definition, it means to remain steadfast, faithful, and patient under sufferings, trials, and even temptations. Rather than just passively bearing a heavy burden, it is an active resolve or a perspective, a change in our mindset to stand firm and hold on to faith without yielding or retreating. That's perspective. That's powerful.
Praise it. Praise yeah.
Praise
Hmm.
God. The
Yeah. We also we're moving closer to that, you know, what Isaiah is gonna explain to us in 53. Don't know if we can reach here today, but we're gonna see what pain and everything, that you have to go through. So
mm.
yeah. Go ahead,
One
Brother.
last comment, Elder. Mother Amuna said,
Yeah.
hallelujah for the question and
Mm-hmm.
answers. We, the body, are all walking in this together. Keep
Praise yeah.
enduring. That's right. You're not alone, my
Praise.
sis.
You're not
Praise God.
alone.
Praise
I don't
God for
think
them
you're the
comforting
lone
words.
soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Praise yeah.
Yahweh got you. Yahweh got you. So you hang in there. All right? Praise God. We're going to go back to Isaiah chapter 52. and pick it up at verse 4. For thus saith Yahweh Elohim, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Syrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yahweh, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yahweh, and my name continually every day is blasphemed.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, my people shall know my name. Therefore, they shall know in that day that I am he that does speak. Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, your Elohim reigns. Praise Yahweh.
Praise yeah.
Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing. For they shall see eye to eye, when Yahweh shall bring again Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Break forth into joy. Sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem. For Yahweh has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Our sister Samara followed up, elders. She said, praise Yahweh for the family and encouragement. Love.
Praise
Yes,
God.
love. Praise Yahweh.
Praise yeah, praise yeah. I mean, look in verse 7. How
Hmm.
beautiful upon the mountain are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that
Hmm.
publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings, good news, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy Elohim reigneth. That's
Hmm.
nothing but the Mashiach himself.
Praise Yahweh.
He's the one that brought us good news.
Hmm.
He's the one that's going to take us to, this rocky road. No one else. He's the one going
Hmm.
to be reigning in the millennium period. Yeah, it's not going to be physically Yahweh. No, we'll never see Yahweh. Yeah, yeah. So
Teach.
everything, when you see Yahweh, I mean, when you see the Son, you have seen the Father. Yeah, Yahweh is a spirit. So the spirit worketh within the Messiah. So that goes for us too. When you see us walking in righteousness, you have seen the Father, you have seen the Son. Okay? So don't worry about that. Don't worry about, the fall because, yeah, we fall every day. You're telling me which man don't fall every day and I will go and worship that man. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me
Teach.
make it plain to you. Yeah,
Hmm.
so we all fall. Once you understand that, so don't worry about the fall. We're gonna fall too. Only one man walked this earth, and remain righteous, and it's the Son, no one else.
Hmm.
Because even your thought, they are living entities. And sometimes you was like, you walk up there, you imagine some things, and I was like, why do I, imagine these things? Why these things
Hmm.
come? Why these thoughts come to my mind? So you have to clear it out. Yeah, because when you act upon it, man, you sin against the Creator.
Hmm.
Especially you have to be constantly reading this book. You have to be constantly asking the Most High for forgiveness. Yeah,
Hmm.
so none of us, is righteous. There's only one righteous, and it's Yahweh. Yeah, go ahead, man.
That's correct.
Praise Yah. Our brother
Praise Yah.
Waka Damon said, this and even another ministry I listened to, asking and waiting for Yah seem to be reoccurring messages. Yeah, it doesn't
Praise
change.
Yah.
See?
It doesn't change.
He said, ask and you shall receive. He just didn't
Yeah.
say when you would receive it. You got to
No,
wait on
sir.
that answer. You
Yep.
got your mommy and dad, you ask your mommy a question or your daddy a question, they may not respond to you right then, but they heard you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of that process. They hear you,
Yeah.
but they might be waiting to see what are you going to do if I don't answer you right away. You know? And
Yeah.
I try, yeah, go ahead, Ella.
No, that no, what that is telling us, that's one of the attributes of the spirit, patient.
That's right.
So we all have to
Patient.
go through, patient. How long should I wait? Be patient. There's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you ask for some things and you don't get an answer. That means it's not going to give it to you, or it's not ready yet to give it to you. He may be going to see how you're going to respond, and what help you seek to get, or who you went to get that help. Very important.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise yeah.
Sometimes he's doing something, again, preparation, preparing you,
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, a lot of times we go through things to benefit, to help others as they go through it. I remember when I first got into this word and, kind of coming from the world. um, Man, I went through a financial hardship that I had never experienced in my life. Never had
Mm.
really gone through any of that. But what it was designed for, and as you go through and as you kind of get into another season, then you're able to understand what you just went through, and it was Yah really showing me that he is a provider for all things, and also it also really taught me that I don't need a whole lot, whereas coming into this, I just needed this or wanted this and that, but you really get out this flesh and you really begin to try to walk in the spirit. You realize that you really don't need a whole lot, to survive. So with gratitude, being thankful for what he does bless you with, and letting him kind of change your perspective and change your mind brings you into a whole nother season. And then the blessings begin to come to where, now he's giving you a little bit more, giving you a little bit of this, giving you a little bit of that. But you had to go through that process. And once I stopped kicking and fighting and accepted that, okay, this is Yah, and thank you for all things, that's when, you begin to see this process working for your good, whether he's giving you what you asked for or not. Whatever he
Mm.
does give and whatever he does do is perfect, and he doesn't make any mistakes. So just kind of understand that all things work together for the good of those who love Yah and called according to his purpose. So however he's doing it, you just have to have faith that it's going to work for your good, and it will. Praise Yah.
Praise
even
God.
if even if it doesn't work, still have faith. Because if you look at the Hebrew boys, that's what the deacon was saying. They throw those three Hebrew boys in the fire,
Mm.
but they leave it up to the Father. It's the Father. If you want to save it, we're still not going to worship, that
Right,
image.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what? Yeah, you have to decide to give your life, just as how the Messiah
Exactly,
gave his life. Yeah. So
exactly.
what? Yeah.
So you look at Isaiah 58, and that's one of the things that it speaks about, or was
Hmm.
it 57? But where he says, sometimes we consider those who, die young, or those who die, that sometimes Yah is, sparing them for the wrath, sparing them from seeing the wrath to come. So when you look at
That's
the
right.
brothers who were thrown in the in the lion's den, hey, if it costs our lives, it's for the glory of Yah. So it can't it's all gonna work for the good as long as you keep your faith in Yah
Hmm.
and are grateful for whatever he does for us. It really takes some training and some discipline to get there, but he's he's shown it over and over and over again. So you just stay in faith and be grateful,
Mm.
and enjoy enjoy the blessings that we have in front of us.
Praise yeah.
Best to the
Elder,
best of our praise Yah.
you said something here with the you kept mentioning seasons, and it's something that I was telling my daughter. Life is like the seasons. See, so it's summer now, but you could be going through a winter in your life. See,
Mm,
life
Mm.
is like that, and you got to be able to endure those seasons and the changes that we go through without being changed by them. You see, in a negative way.
Right. Right.
And be grateful for those winters. Some winters are hard. Some winters are easy. But it's literally life is like the seasons. And like we say, that's why I say consider the ants. Because they're preparing, but it's still you're gonna go through. You can't control that, and you have to recognize it and be able to accept those things. Like my elder was saying, be grateful even through that process, and not let it change you and affect you in a negative manner, but rather let it embolden you. It's strengthening you. This patience. I remember when I first came to the word, and like my elder was saying, I asked my elder, Elder Yaakov, I'm new to the word, and I went through a very similar situation, like my elder said, loss, like everything that I came with, just it was crazy to me, and I'm like, man. And then, but I had my Isha at that time, and I'm trying to speak to her about the word, and I'm coming to my elder, and I'm like, I've been praying about my Isha, learning the word and hearing the word, and he was like, brother, give her as long as you would want her to give you, and walked away. And I'm waiting for him to answer and say more, and he he was like, what? And I was like, that's it. He said, that's it. It was
Right.
like patience, and I laugh now because I was waiting for him to say more, and it was just he was like, brother, that's it, and it was like, man, okay, and it took time to really
Mm,
grasp what it was he was telling me, like just
right.
patience, and he was like, I can't teach you patience, you have to learn patience. Yahweh
Yep.
will teach you that
Mm,
over time, and that's the thing, and so yeah, enjoy those situations because you will. It's what makes you who you are, and it's going to mold you into something. Elder also said something about discipline. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a commandment
Mm-hmm.
and follow through even after the excitement dies. It's easy to say, "Well, I'm gonna do this," and then when opposition hits, it's like, oh. But see, that discipline will carry you through those times, and being able to discipline ourselves to understand that and to be able to apply that, that's that's the important part. See, that's
right,
what's so
sir.
key about discipline. It doesn't limit you; it actually strengthens you, and gives you true freedom, if you would. Because that's very key. And these are lessons that we learn over time. And so, yeah, praise God for these encouraging words and these instructions. You know, praise God.
Praise God. Praise God.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 8. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye, when Yahweh shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem, for Yahweh has comforted his people, he has redeemed Jerusalem. Yahweh has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. This
Hey,
is
that
his
that
son.
that yeah.
Mm,
Let them
Praise
know
God.
that. Yeah, that
Mm,
Yahweh gonna be coming out. Yeah. That's gonna be Yeshua coming out of the sky.
that's right.
After the seventh trumpet. Yeah.
Mm,
Go ahead.
praise God. That's that bear, that's
Praise.
that arm, you
Yeah.
know. And he says, and they shall see the salvation of our Elohim, which defines
Praise
his
yeah.
character. Yahshua.
Yeah.
Yah's salvation. That's who he sent
That's right.
to save the people. So praise God.
Praise yeah.
Verse 11. Depart you, depart you, go you out from thence. Touch no unclean thing. Go you out of the midst of her. Be you clean that bear the vessels of Yahweh.
That's so important. That's why
Indeed.
I said the word that comes out of you, is it, you is saying those words, or the spirit is bringing those words forth, for others.
Mm,
So that is telling you, we need to keep this vessel as clean as best as possible, so that Yah can dwell within you, because he cannot dwell in a sinful flesh at all time. That's
Mm.
why we cannot, you know, control that spirit, to
Exactly.
whenever it comes or whatever it goes. You know,
Mm.
it know the time when to come. Someone need help or you need help to say something to, or you need to do something. That's when the spirit is going to be there for you. Yeah. So, you have to keep this vessel clean at all time. Now, I love to say, clean it out all the time, but there's time when this vessel is going to fall, and it fall daily. I'm telling you, it falls daily.
Mm.
Praise.
Teach. Praise God. Verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For Yahweh will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your rear guard. Mm. Behold, my servant shall do prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. This is what he said. My servant shall deal prudently. That's wisely. This is how we
Mm-hmm.
have to walk circumspectly in these days and times. Yeah. Verse 14. As many were astonished at thee, his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. This is the Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. Praise Yahweh.
Praise
Praise,
God.
yeah, and praise, yeah. I know the chapter coming up is a short chapter, but I mean it is full of information. So elder and deacon, you want to hold back on this chapter until next week when we can, present more and more information, because there's a lot of prophetic moment in this chapter, and we don't want to
Right.
I
rush
agree.
through it. Yeah. So
I
we're gonna
agree
hold
about that.
back. Yeah. So praise your deacon, praise your elder. Yeah,
Praise
because
God.
a lot of people, is saying different things when it comes to this chapter. A
Mm.
lot of folks sect, they don't even recognize the Messiah, what he came to do, and so
Mm.
forth and so forth. So we really want to take time to go through this, chapter 53. And we are encouraging each and everyone, on this program or on this media source to, read a couple of a chapter, because, Yah's will, we're going to be here, on Shabbat to do this chapter. So you can even make up, not make up, but have additional question, pertaining to this and to anything else that you wanted to ask, this, members on this podium. And, so it would be great, just read, 53, 54, read a couple of other, chapters, and to see, what question, if any, you do have to ask us. That would be great. So we can have the chance for the Spirit to work, to work within you also. So praise God. So at this moment, um, we're going to come to the end of our Shabbat class and discussion, and I'm going to turn it over to the elder and to the deacon for, the commentaries. Elder,
Praise Yah. Praise
go
Yah.
ahead.
Praise Yah. Excellent class, Elder, and an excellent pre-class, Deacon, where you had mentioned you had kind of been studying on Daniel this week, and it's really, again, I've been using this word, but very timely in terms of things that we're seeing going on right now, things that we're seeing in the news. I remember when the Iraq War first came out, and Elder Uriah was saying, don't get yourself too overly concerned with this. There's certain things that have to come about, certain things that have to take place. So kind of, going over that, just gives us more assurance, lets us know that, Yahweh's word will be fulfilled, and we can patiently wait and continue to just, be servants, to be the best servants that we can be, to show love towards one another, to show love towards our family, and to just give give those who watch us, and that's there's quite a few that know what we're involved with, that we're trying to follow Yah, and they may not always say something, but one thing that we can pretty much guarantee is they're watching, and give them a reason as to why we have hope, why we have peace in the midst of chaos, and just continue to keep our mind stayed on Yah. So again, brothers, I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, brothers, and I appreciate the class that we did, and I got a lot out of it, and I'll kind of go back and maybe reread so that I can even get more. But I definitely appreciate the diligence of you brothers. I appreciate the audience who who's really been helpful to me as well, week by week. A lot of your statements, a lot of your questions, a lot, those encourage me so much. And so I really appreciate those listening in for your questions and for your statements, and just for encouraging one another. It really encourages me and my family. I thank all you all. So praise Yah. Praise Yah and Shabbat Shalom, family, and I'll turn it over to Deacon.
Hey, praise Yah is a great saying, a great class. We this is a double-edged sword. So we receive as well, and we're cut as well, and we're encouraged as well. And these things are this is real. This is not something that's just like I don't know if people take the things that are going on serious or take Yahweh serious, but we do. And the more we do, the more He reveals unto us to know that He's right there. And so, praise Yah, like you said, for the family. We always say it's a great honor that Yahweh has bestowed upon us to be able to walk before the people and to be able to spread a word and try to give comfort to the people. And we're grateful for it. And we don't take these things lightly. We don't take it for granted either. And we take this thing very seriously. So we praise Yah for you all. And I did want to read something. Our sister Athalia said, "Hallelujah. Praise Yah for another edifying sermon. May Yah continue to bless, guide, and protect us all. Shabbat Shalom, family, which is peace on the Sabbath.
Shabbat
So
Shalom.
peace to you, my sister.
Praise Yah.
Shabbat Shalom to you as well, and you and your family. Praise Yah for your comforting words and your encouragement. I did want to read something. Our mother Moon said, "Thank you for the living water. I have been refreshed and ready for the week. Hallelujah."
Praise Yah.
And she quoted
Hallelujah.
John
Praise Yah.
chapter 4, verse
Hallelujah.
14. Praise Yah
Mm-hmm.
indeed. But I just wanted to read something, for this we all are encouraged by these things, and we try to be of encouragement to the family. And it's a couple of verses. It's a few verses, but bear with me. It's in Psalms chapter 145. And it says, "I will extol thee, my Elohim, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Yahweh, and thy saints shall bless thee." Bless Yahweh. "They shall
Praise Yah.
speak of the glory of thy kingdom, and talk of your power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endureth throughout all generations. It changes not. Yahweh upholds
Mhm.
all that fall, and raises up all those that be bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and you givest them their meat in due season." See? Thou openest thine hand rather, and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. Yahweh is near unto all that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He will also hear their cry, and will save them. Yahweh preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise of Yahweh, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. And that's
Amen.
all I got.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh's majesty and his glory and honor. Yeah, we gotta speak on these things. We give Yahweh the glory in all things and praise him. And what our mother Shirley said, great teaching moments, excellent class. Thanks for the way you all have allowed Yahweh to use you. Praise Yah, mother.
Praise God.
Praise
Praise
Yah.
God.
Praise you.
That's great to hear. That's encouraging to hear, because we're just servants, that's all, and we're just trying to walk uprightly before Yahweh so that we may be counted worthy. And like my elder Hoshea said, that we can give an encouraging word to someone who may need it, to see why we have the hope that we have. So yeah, praise Yah for my elders. Praise Yah for all the viewers and the listeners. We praise Yahweh for his mercy. And if anyone would like to receive their baptism, please do reach out to us, and we can take care of that business for you, as Yahweh allows. And that's all I got, my elders. I don't know if there's anything else we need to speak unto the people. If you have anything, my elder Uriah.
No, sir. I mean, it's a powerful moment today. We spoke from our heart, deep down, and that's what it's all about. Truth. We're not here, to sugarcoat anything. We're just gonna say, exactly, what's on our mind. So we can, if we need help, we get help, and if we need to help someone, we help that person, because we are brothers and and sisters. Try to be our brothers and sisters keepers. In other words,
Mm.
to do the will of the Most High. It's all about this body, the keepers of the house of light. It is gearing to provide additional information to save people. That's the direction that Yahweh want us to go through His Son Yeshua HaMashiach. There's no other way. We're not here to bash anyone. We can point out for you to agree or disagree, and keep it moving. But we're here to help each other, and that's the bottom line. And with that, we appreciate everything, not only, from the deacon and the elder, but also from the listeners, because those are, really, the real, I don't want to say hard hand, because they are the one who's going through more than us, who's up here, and others outside haven't listened to this program. So invite them also, whatever problem they're going through, or what situation they're going through, if the word of the Most High can help them, send them here, and we'll give them word for word. We're not going to deviate, from what is written here, So, we are here to glorify Yahweh all the time. And with that, I would like to say Shabbat Shalom, to the visitors and to the members and everyone else. We say Shabbat Shalom, mean peace, be with you. Um, Elder, deacon, Shabbat Shalom. Well done. Praise
Shabbat
Yahweh.
shalom, elder. Shabbat shalom, deacon. Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom,
shalom,
family.
elders.
Hey,
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
family. I didn't get to acknowledge my brother Barrington. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, Shabbat shalom, brother Barrington. Praise Yah for you,
Praise
brother.
Yah.
All right.
Praise God.
Shabbat
Praise
shalom,
Yah.
family. Praise Yah.